Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Talking Real Estate with Champions Real Estate Team here at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Ambassador Real Estate Company. Joining me today, Jeff Peterson, who's also on Champions Real Estate Team with me. And then we have Russ Williams with Williams Mortgage. So we're excited to have him. So you've seen he's got a new background. So he's opened up his new mortgage brokerage. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But thank you guys, gentlemen, for joining me. So first week in February here, so jump into our market stats. So like we do every Wednesday around lunchtime, just keep you up to date on what's going on in the marketplace. So as we take a look here at the our statistics for the week, in the last 7 days, we've had 285 new homes go on the market in the Omaha and Lincoln MLS, as well as 287 new contracts written and 386 homes that have been sold. So kind of with my theory is, as we've had these last couple of weeks, you know, it's one in, one out. As you basically can almost see here on the statistics is 285 come in, 287 go out and go off the market. So the numbers that we're taking a look at as well, we have about 1,515 active listings in the MLS. That's across the entire MLS. When you break that down by county and kind of the Omaha metro area, Douglas County is kind of your two general counties, we're sitting at 750 homes on the market. Breaking that down one step further into existing homes and then new construction, we're sitting at about 365 existing homes on the market. And then we have about 385 new construction, which is your spec homes models, ones that are being built as well. So as we can see, there's the inventory is at historic lows. We still have a lot of buyer activity coming into the marketplace. And what we'll probably see here is obviously we're going through a big cold stretch right now as far as temperature goes, but that's getting a lot of people ready to get their houses ready for the spring. So I think in the next, couple weeks, as people start coming out of hibernation for all intents and purposes, getting out there and getting their houses ready. The other thing we're also seeing a lot of is, broker exclusives where a brokerage can list a house, market that within their brokerage. And here at Berkshire Hathaway, with having the largest market share in Omaha, we're able to kind of expose that home to the other Berkshire agents, as well as the Champions Real Estate Team and our clients alike, and find some of those houses that they may not go out to the full market and be able to get a fair price for your home, as well as a buyer that may be willing to, be flexible on closing dates and and work with that seller because they may need to find another home. And I think that's one of the biggest holdbacks of putting people's houses on the market is that they don't have a place to go, and so that's where we can work together with other agents at Berkshire and most importantly, agents on our team at Champions Real Estate Team here. And then pairing up with Russ Williams at Williams Mortgage to kind of get all the ducks in a row and make sure everyone knows what's going on. So I think that's one of those things that we can do to help facilitate those transactions and make sure everyone is moving along in the process and the journey of buying a home and selling a home and making it easy. Because, if you put it on the house, we still have with COVID-19 still out there, obviously people are getting vaccinated, but some people may not want people in their homes. And doing that broker exclusive, we can limit, as far as the number of people that may potentially be coming and going through your house. So one of those things that we looked through here. So we had 15% more loans to buy homes this year than we did last year. So that's something I saw in the Mortgage Broker Association, Bankers Association, that basically as we're seeing, that still uptick in buyer activity. And then obviously the sellers, still a great time to sell. So let's jump in and see what's going on in the mortgage industry with Russ. So Russ, you're muted right now, so just have you unmute so you can hear you.
Hey everybody, welcome to the frigid north again this week, right?
Yeah, right. So it's supposed to be a high of 4 degrees, on Sunday, I think, which is crazy. So
nice little segue. Mortgage rates are still really hot, folks.
Yeah,
in fact, we saw rates have a little bit of a tick up on the 7th of January, and of course that was right after the Congress had certified the next president, which of course is President Joe Biden. But they've actually softened back down, so we're sitting just above all-time lows for mortgage rates. How long they hold there is really hard to say. But what that does mean for right now is this is a great time to buy a home. It's a great time to sell a home too. And Mark, you'd mentioned we have such a huge shortage of inventory right now. The demand is exceeding the inventory by tremendous amounts. And that typically means when you think of normal laws of supply and demand, that if you want to buy something, you may have to give a little bit more in order to get it. So I wanted, if it's okay with you, throw out an idea, or at least a concept that a lot of folks may not know about. In my world, the lending world, we call it delayed financing. And so if you or a friend or a family member is trying to buy a home, but either keeps missing out because of cash offers or whatnot, there's a way potentially that you can make yourself look like a cash offer. We call it delayed financing. And what it basically involves, Mark and Jeff, is that the buyer of the property would use another source of funds to purchase the home. Could be maybe a margin loan against their retirement account or investments they may have, or equity in their current home, or maybe even a parent helping to buy that property as a cash purchase immediately after closing. And we would then be able to turn back around and cash out, put the loan in place and pay back whatever the source of that funding came from to purchase a home. Investment brokers, for example, TD Ameritrade, Morgan Stanley, are familiar with situations like this. A lot of times they'll call those margin loans. A lot of retirement accounts, IRAs, 401ks may even have loan provisions in them that would allow you to borrow funds for shorter periods of time. And this would be a great way to use funds like that to get the home that you want. And in the seller's view, seller's eyes, you look like a cash buyer.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that is, it is, it's just thinking outside the box. And so, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. So Thursday, February 4th, we're doing our home buyer seminar. And that stuff we'll talk about, just different ways that we can structure an offer, to help you compete in the competition and not just participate. We had a new contract that just came out February 1 in the Omaha and Lincoln MLS, basically to streamline things, make it easier between the two multiple listing services being combined. And knowing how to work that contract, and hiring a full-time agent that does this day in and day out. Last year, 30% of the agents in the Omaha Board of Realtors did not have a single transaction. So that's something to think about when you're interviewing agents, is asking how many transactions have you done, especially when we have a new contract that just came out, familiarizing yourselves with that and making sure an agent that knows what they're doing. And like you said, these different strategies that we'll talk about tomorrow as well, at 8 p.m. on our Facebook page, basically the same way we're doing this here. We're going to just do it and do kind of basically a home buyer seminar and kind of talk about market and things of that sort and the steps. So yeah, I think that is a great option of maybe you have, and you can even keep that, like we said, like a cash out refinance, like you're talking there, is if you have an existing home, why not keep it as a rental? Because some of these buyers that might not be finding homes need a place to go, and maybe they're going to rent a house for a year. Let's see if the housing market can calm down a little bit. Well, if you have that equity, you've bought it 5, even 10 years ago, and you can pull that money out, put it in your next house, then replenish that money back with the loan, and then you have somebody else, and you're starting to build that net worth. So absolutely. That's just some of the little things that there are, those little tricks of the trade. Not tricks of the trade, but just different avenues that you don't know what you don't know. And I think that's what we try to do here at Champions Real Estate Team and partnering up with Russ at Williams Mortgage and just coaching you through those processes and giving you all those options. And maybe you're not going to buy a house this year. You're going to refinance and then build that up. And so it's just a matter of different ways to help you out in that regard. So,
Great points.
But Jeff, I guess, what are you kind of seeing out there as far as in your eyes of the market and buyers and sellers and such?
Yeah, I think you guys hit it, so I won't dive too deep today, but the market's starving for your listing. So yeah, we're, as agents anyways, hoping for a boom, an increase in homes on the market come spring. But if you were thinking about listing, and you don't have a reason or need to wait till, the next month or two, talk to us now, because you're going to have a healthy competition for your home at this point in the market on the listing side. On the sales side, from a buying perspective, that can be scary because you're like, oh, well, it's going to be a premium. Yeah, you're going to have a game plan in place for buying a house. But Russ mentioned it again, the rates went up a little and they dipped right back down. And so your buying power is still strong from the mortgage lending side to combat some of that price. And so, partner with Russ, we'll get you in touch with them. But ultimately, especially if you're looking to list a house this year, beat people to the market, get it on there. You're going to have a very healthy competition for it right now. So,
yeah. And I think kind of the other caveat to that too is that, people looking at it, they're going to pay a premium, and then, well, is the housing market going to take a crash? And, am I overpaying for a house? Well, ultimately, we don't have a crystal ball. We can't predict the market, but looking at the supply and demand aspect of it, that, they aren't really building any more entry-level houses. Your entry-level new construction is like 250 plus, and so those homes that are at that 150, 175, 200, they're not building any more of those until someone maybe comes in and can figure out a way to make a profit at it from a building standpoint of it, but with the cost of land and that avenue of it. So even though you're still maybe paying a premium for a house, hopefully 5-10 years down the road, you're still going to have some net positive on your equity, and you're also capitalizing on historically low interest rates. And I think that's a huge proponent of it, that I think people look at just now. Well, rents have continued to go up for 12 plus years, on a roll. And if you can jump in and get into a house at a low interest rate, and that market's going to keep going up, like I said, we don't have a crystal ball. We can't predict the future, but hopefully you're not going to be upside down unless you make some silly, choices with your equity and you buy, you pay for a vacation out of it where you're not getting any money out of that, equity. So if you're using that aspect of it, so I think that's something to think about, that, well, I don't want to buy a house now because I'm paying a premium. Well, your interest rates are low, and over time, more than likely that house is inevitably going to go up. And historically, they usually go up for, 4% plus or minus every year. And, they dip, they go down. I know I bought my first house in 2007 for 110. And in 2010, they were selling that exact same Hearthstone home for 106. So 4 years later, they were selling my exact brand new home for $4,000 less. Then in 2019, we sold it for 188. So we essentially made 88, over that, 12-year, 11-year time frame. We were able to turn around and make a decent profit, on that equity that you build up in your home. So, that old adage, don't wait to buy real estate and wait. That's one of those things you kind of look at, and it kind of holds true that if you're going to hold it for over time, in that avenue. So yeah, that's kind of, I think, what we kind of had today. We don't want to take up too much of your time, but I'll put a link on this page, or on this video at the bottom, that'll have it to our event page for our home buyer seminar. So it's www.championsrealestateteamevent.com will essentially take you to our Facebook event page. So you can go onto that and check that out. But it'll be 8 o'clock tomorrow, basically same thing. So it'll be on our Champions Real Estate Team Facebook page, just like this video is. You can watch it later, in that aspect of it, comment on it. You can reach out to any of us here at Champions Real Estate Team, or Russ Williams, if you have some specific mortgage questions, whether it's refinancing, cash out refinances, things that have to buy a house. Let us just get a game plan for you, whether that's this year, 6 months down the road, a year, 5 years, how can we help you get to that point? So, Russ, you have anything else to touch on or add?
I think that's it. Hope to see everybody on here tomorrow night. This real estate, I'm bullish on it. Will continue to be. They're not making any more land. And to Mark's point, there's no better, and Jeff's too, there's no better time to buy than now.
Yep, buy and sell. I mean, it's crazy. So, but Jeff, you got anything else?
I think we're good.
Awesome. Yep. See everyone tomorrow, 8 o'clock on our Champions Real Estate Team Facebook page at Berkshire Hathaway. And stay warm out there, and go Chiefs, right? All right. See you guys.